This is KSB, Pebble Beach 91.9. I'm DJ Freddy. Today we're doing a senior spotlight of a senior at Stevenson, Connor Cosand. It's good to have you.
Thanks for having me, Freddie.
Yeah, of course. All right, so we're going to be interviewing, just about time at Stevenson, like good experiences you had, and just overall reflection. So I guess what we can start with is maybe what are your plans for after high school?
So as of now, I'm committed to Santa Clara into their Levy School of Business. Looking forward to being up there, meeting some new people, kind of figuring out what the next steps are. Stevenson's prepared me well, so kind of been finalizing what interests I have and looking to what's next. So probably will be sticking to that School of Business. Don't have as much as an interest in like art or possibly science, but as of now, in the business school and maybe looking at a finance major in the future, but
Nice.
We'll see.
Yeah. It's good to have your priorities set. So let's see. If you had to pick a favorite class that you took at Stevenson, what do you think it would be?
Ooh, I would say favorite class. One that has stuck with me throughout the years was my freshman earth science class. So pretty standard class, but the teacher, Mr. Treader, was probably one of the best teachers I've had, and I had him again my junior year for a chemistry honors class, and he was still that same great guy. But I would say the teaching experience alone just made those classes so much better, along with the fact that I like sciences, earth science and chemistry, two of my favorites, but a lot of that credited to Mr. Treader.
If you had a particular part of his teaching style that you think was like impactful in a certain way, what do you think it was?
So I would say, I think what it boiled down to was his love of teaching, and especially teaching the sciences. He just took everything to a greater depth than what he had to, what he was expected to, and that just made the class so much more enjoyable. All these examples of applications of what you're learning kind of brought everything into this viewpoint where you could actually envision yourself maybe applying all those things you learned about into something useful. And just generally just being a good guy, I would say, just made that class that much more enjoyable.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, simple things like that really go a long way. Outside of the classroom, what do you think is your proudest accomplishment and why?
Accomplishment? I would say, well, I like to do a lot of things out of the classroom. Sports and surfing with friends and some music here and there, some guitar. Let's see. I would say still being able to play an instrument after all this time. I played cello in middle school. Was in like the CCS honor orchestra and everything. But kind of got away from music when I started playing sports in high school. But took a Guitar 1 class and was still happy that I could be able to play music still. While also doing sports, because that was a toss-up for me. It was sports or music, and I chose sports to pursue. But still being able to follow that love of music I have was huge. So accomplishment though.
Is there like a song maybe about a guitar that you?
I mean, recently I've been working on "Cherry Wine" by Hosier. That's a little finger-picking verse, and then "Blackbird" by
The Beatles?
The Beatles, yeah.
That's a great one.
That's a good one, too.
Yeah.
Ladies love it.
Noted. All right. Speaking of advice that you have, what do you think if you could tell younger students something you would tell for like freshmen or sophomores?
I would say love your classmates. You guys are in it for the next three or 2 years together, so make good memories with those people. Be kind to each other, because what it boils down to that you're spending time with these people every day. So might as well make it enjoyable. All that fighting and petty stuff, kind of in the bigger picture, doesn't really matter as much as those relationships that'll carry on further. I'll just say, be kind to each other.
Yeah,
no need for anything else.
Good advice. If you had particular advice for your own younger self, your freshman year self, what do you think you'd tell him?
Good question. I would say don't stress out too much about, say, finals. For me, finals was like, oh man, big test coming up.
I don't even think they have it as
exactly.
a freshman anymore, which is just so
right.
relieving.
Changed a lot. A lot of things have changed, but school's important. The people you meet are also very important too. So I would, again, going back to relationships and kind of building that network, just be kind to people and always remember faces and names. Say hi to each other in the hallways. For me, I would say, yeah, don't stress out too much about grades as much as the material that you're learning, because grades are, there's this way of kind of viewing how you're doing in a class instead of what you're grasping. If you truly understand something, the grade, I think, doesn't matter as much.
Yeah, that's a great point. So throughout your course at Stevenson, your whole overview, what do you think was your favorite memory that you had?
That's a tough one. A lot of good memories. Yeah, tons of good memories. I would say probably on one of these lacrosse trips, the lacrosse team takes a annual trip to some usually out of state. We went to San Diego my freshman year, but play some out of state competition.
Right.
And just have a good time with the team, some team bonding stuff.
Yeah.
Stay in the hotels. So I would say my freshman year, we were in San Diego, and we got all the boys at the beach. And there's actually a picture of it. Me and my buddy Dev Patel, we went swimming in the ocean. It was super cold, but we did some body surfing, and everyone's playing frisbee and stuff after the game. Just nice sunny day. It was a good time.
Yeah, nice. I mean, and in the freshman year, that's so good.
Yeah, right.
It was great to get you into it. So, in general, how do you think the high school experience has impacted you now as a senior at the end of your years?
Yeah, let's see. I would say I've been happy throughout, and that's all I can ask for. It's not the case for some people, which is a bummer, but I've loved it. I've loved the people here, the teachers here. Yeah, as a whole, I would say Stevenson for sure played a huge part in that. This community that is built here is super important. Everybody's smiling at each other usually. And just being happy with going to school every day and kind of like looking forward to that and not how would I put that?
Not, dreading going to school
Exactly.
and, not enjoying it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because that would be tough if you're dreading going to school for 5 days out of the week. That's a lot of time.
Yeah, definitely. But it's so great that you enjoyed it.
Exactly.
So what do you think are some of your hobbies, and how do you think that you'll maybe translate those into the future that you might hold, like maybe music or sports can impact what you do later?
Yeah, so let's see. I'll speak to, let's do guitar and surfing. So surfing, of course, you got to have an ocean for that.
Right, yeah.
So wherever I end up, I'm hoping I'm close to it.
Yeah.
Surfing's a good way to kind of get away from everything and everyone at the right times. Kind of clear your mind and focus on one thing at hand, and that's having a good time out there. Even if it's just sitting on your board, you're not getting any waves. Being out in the water, seeing the seals go by and the birds flying.
Peaceful.
It's very nice. And to the music part, guitar is something that you can kind of create anything with. Some people like to learn other people's songs. Some people like to make their own music, and you can do all of that. I would say that creativity part, the second you lose that is when things start to change for you as a person.
Yeah, definitely. Monotony can be very challenging. But
Exactly.
Are you more of a creator or like a, practicer, someone who gets someone else's work and perfects it?
Exactly.
Which one would you say you are?
I'd say a little bit of a mix. I'll definitely take notes from the greats and listen to some of their stuff, see what worked for them, try to apply that into, I don't know. I'm not no songwriter by any means or anything like that, but love to just make a nice little beat, play it over and over again until it gets old.
Yeah, I mean,
do something else.
That's sometimes how they go. That's how they do it,
Exactly.
If you ever make any music, though,
yep.
KSBB station, totally love
Expecting you to play all of it.
Definitely. So, you've talked a lot about your time at Stevenson. Do you think if you could relive one of the 4 years that you've had, which one do you think you would probably go to?
That's a good question too. A lot of good questions.
Thank you.
I would say my freshman year, just because everything's so new, new and exciting.
Definitely.
People are new, a lot of new experiences to have. Teachers were good. Yeah, a lot of good memories from my freshman year, I would say. And not to say that no good memories from any of the other years, but a lot of more memorable moments, I would say.
Yeah, just because everything's so new.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, not to get a little down, but during your junior and senior year, how do you think COVID affected the outcome of what happened during those years?
Yeah, so I would say a big part of COVID that impacted me the most was just the sports seasons being vetoed. We had one lacrosse game, and I had a lot of buddies in that graduating class that year, and we were expecting a full season, and that was kind of our, for lack of a better term, dream team that year, and we were looking forward to a good season, and then we had that one game, and that was it. So that was definitely a bummer, and then carrying on to my senior year, not having like a football season and a basketball season. Thank God we got a lacrosse season, which has been great. But that changed kind of my like everyday schedule. I was used to like practice after school, games on the weekends. Just had to find something to fill that time.
Yeah. What do you think did eventually fill that time?
So I would say at one point we had a lot of people from Stevenson coming out to Spanish Bay. It's like the local break out here for surfing. Probably like 10 to 12 like Stevenson kids were all out there, and that was a blast. So in place of like practice after school, we'd go down there, and waves were good, we'd get in. Waves were bad, we'd still get in. Yeah, that I'd say surfing was a huge part of that early on, at least.
Do you think you were like you kind of increased your level of surfing during quarantine? Like, do you think you were like a pro surfer before?
No, yeah.
Or do you think you like kind of gained that during quarantine?
Yeah, I mean, if you're doing something enough, eventually you'll become better at it. By no means am I a great surfer or anything. I'd say I'm above average-ish, if I'm being nice. But yeah, for me, it was never about doing the craziest trick or anything.
Just about the fun piece.
Exactly. If I'm happy or getting out of the water, then I got in. It's a good session.
Yeah. So I guess we're kind of closing out here. We've asked a lot of questions. Cool. Do you have anything you'd like to say to Stevenson, or anything that you want to get off your chest before we, end off our little interview, Senior Spotlight?
I'd say thank you for having me, Freddie. This was an experience.
Definitely, yeah.
Invite me back sometime. Yeah.
Of course, anytime you're welcome. All right, yeah, thank you.
Man.
All right, see ya.